Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. Welcome to The Last Stand. I'll be joined just momentarily by Jay Campbell. We appreciate you being in the broadcast. It's always a good time. It's always an informative time. And we're looking forward to Jay joining us here momentarily. Yesterday, we had, of course, the extravaganza of enlightenment in Clearwater, Florida. We had a great crowd. We had some really outstanding people there, the speakers. Every one of them knocked it out of the park. We had a crowd of people that were so interesting and so fired up. I have to tell you, it's a real pleasure. And it's hard to understand. It's hard to explain. Hard to explain the dynamic, and it's hard to explain the energy that comes about when you have that many people of a like mind gathered in one place. And it's so unusual because we don't get around people of like mind as we are very often. And, you know, we here around these parts tend to be even a little more strange, if you will, or out of the ordinary or out of the box than most people. Mystery Johnson, who was there yesterday, said that she was so glad she could be there and that it was awesome. And it definitely was. And the energy there was just off the charts. And I hope that you get a chance to come. Cuban Pixie, hello there. It's been a minute. I hope that you get a chance to participate in one of these events. We're going to try to do more of them. We're going to try to do them across the country. And we do hope that you get a chance to be a part. Thanks to everyone who was there. It was a great honor and a privilege to have you. Thanks to Rex Bear, Jenny Moonstone, Heidi Vandenberg, and Dan from Overwatch Channel that were there. And with that, Jay Campbell has joined us. Let me go ahead and bring Jay on. Of course, Jay's a fitness expert. He's got a brand new book out, and he's also an expert on, come on, work with me here. Sorry, I'm just trying to get this technology to allow me to let Jay in, and it doesn't want to. Oh my. It's always fun to deal with technology, and especially during Mercury retrograde, I think. So I'm not sure why. Oh, I think Jay dropped off. He's going to come back on. Okay, great. Because it just wasn't working real well. But Mystery was there, and we had many other folks who were there. Unfortunately, we had a few people that due to weather and other situations, we're not able to come to the event, but it was fantastic. You're very welcome about the live broadcast. I wish we could have done it in a better fashion, but we had trouble with actually, I have to get with Zoom because that's the second time it hasn't worked on my PC, and that was actually a big hassle. So we're glad you enjoyed the live stream. It was a little bit rough. It was, it was supposed to be just a live stream. It wasn't a show. It was there to show you what was going on at the event. And we're glad that you were able to participate with it. And here's Jay, and it's actually working this time. How about that? So we're going to bring Jay on here live just as soon as we can. And there he is. Let me get over here and unmute Jay. Jay, you should be good to go. Let me unmute you here, brother.
I'm good. What's up, my brother?
I'm great. How are you doing today?
I'm sorry. I was stuck in a little bit of traffic, and
no problem.
I had my phone stolen in Miami, so I literally got home from the airport about an hour and a half ago, and there was the phone, the insurance protection. They sent it right to me, so I had to. I can't receive email or text messages, so that's why I couldn't have.
No kidding. Well, that's great. I mean, it's bad you got it stolen, but it's amazing that you got it taken care of through your insurance that quickly.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, like with Verizon, they have that, what do you call it? Phoneclaim.com. And you just literally go in and tell them, hey man, my phone was stolen. And here's the thing, you got to pay your deductible, which is, right, $150 or whatever. But yeah, I already had it. It was there when I got home. So I was only without phone a whole day. That's a whole nother conversation we could have, because it was liberating.
Oh, good. In a positive way.
Oh yes, definitely, man. I mean, we're slaves to these things. You know that, brother.
I know, but most people would not call it liberating because they'd be freaking out. And I imagine people, not everybody knows that Jay has a very successful real estate business, some very successful other entrepreneurial ventures. So I can just imagine you had to be a little bit stressed to be out of contact.
Well, so 2 years ago, or yeah, I guess it was 2 years ago now, a similar thing happened to me. I was at an amusement park. And it's so funny how random and how weird and random the world is. But I was with my friend, the same friend who I was with in Miami this past weekend. And that's the second time I've seen him. But we were at Kings Island in Cincinnati, Ohio. We went to see a football game. He's a Miami Dolphins fan. I'm a Bengals fan. Long story short, we were at an amusement park and it fell out of my pocket on a ride.
Oh, no.
So it blew up on the ground. And, I ordered one, but I freaked out because it was on a Saturday and it wasn't leaving till Tuesday. So yeah, I was one of those idiots that was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And I didn't have my phone for 2.5 days. I did have iChat on my phone, but my wife was like, Monica was like, look, dude, just look at this as an opportunity to just detach from technology. So as much as I was stressed and freaked out then, I was zero. Like I wasn't even freaked out. Like my wife was kind of like, you're not concerned that you just lost your phone? I'm like, no, I could care less. I said, it'll actually be great because we have 36 hours before the trip's over.
I think that shows a little bit of growth on your behalf, Jay.
That's what she told me too. Yeah, I mean, definitely. I definitely look at it differently though now. Like, obviously I have really good mentors too. But they've told me kind of like, look, man, you live your life on your terms, on your schedule. And if something happens, it's, uncontrollable and, outlandishly where you have no control of the outcome, you just react accordingly. And so, I did what I did. And yeah, I did. I didn't care, man. I mean, obviously when I got home today, my iMessage was trying to set up. I was overwhelmed and inundated, but who cares? I haven't even responded to hardly anybody yet, So
excellent. So where is Jay Campbell these days spiritually? Where would you say you are?
Oh man, I'm like definitely in this incarnation as evolved as I've ever been. I mean, clearly I believe in a higher power, the Holy Mother and Father, the Christ. But realistically, I guess spiritually, I'm a person I know that every answer is found within myself.
Absolutely.
And how deep do I really want to go? The one thing, Jeff, that I struggle with, I think, is that I don't try. I hate that word. It's not a real word. Obviously you do, or you do not. But the reality is that it's not our job to try to awaken people. Sure. We do a great job of that by spiritually doing what we do, but I can't get concerned with people that I would like to see more awake, or more aware than I used to. So I feel like now it's just kind of like I just do my mission. I show up and every day I know what my mission is, which is to help as many people as I can. We've talked about that before, and I just do it. What comes naturally is what I do. It's like all the guys I mentor, I always say, are you going to become a man of words or are you going to be a man of action? And when you're a man of like literally aggressive, tactical, calculated action, that's when you're successful in life.
Absolutely. And there's always growth opportunities because, I've been working out hard, been changing my diet. It's only been about 6 weeks and I was really feeling like I'm getting somewhere. I'm really looking good. And then I saw the live stream, saw myself on the live stream of our event this weekend. And I still don't look the way I want to look. And it was, my ego was saying, oh man, you still look paunchy. You got to get going. But I took it. I tried to turn around. I said, yeah, I don't look exactly the way I want to look, but I look a lot better than I did 2 months ago. So and it just gave me more motivation to put the pedal to the metal and keep really rededicating and moving on. So, I probably should be beyond even thinking about that, but we all have growth areas that we can, improve in and improvement. And it's always ego. Ego doesn't die an easy death, does it?
No. Ego. Just to use that word, ego is a bitch, man. I've read all the books from the guy who wrote, ego is the enemy. And I don't actually necessarily agree that because in matter form, we have ego.
Of course, I don't have much of an ego, like, with this jacket or anything.
Dude, that jacket looks great on you. And by the way, you're not fat in the face, dude. You don't have carb face at all. So if you got a little bit of fat on your lower body,
I still got a little more lower gut than I want to have.
Yeah, but that's, that everyone does. The reality is like
except for Jay Campbell and Jim Brown.
Dude, Jim Brown is fat there, and so am I at times. Trust me, it's all an illusion.
Jim got a little tied up, couldn't make it to the meeting. I was sorry I didn't get a chance to meet, but we're going to do dinner.
Oh, cool, man. Yeah, I haven't talked to him at all this weekend. I mean, after I lost my phone, I've kind of been down. But back to what you were saying, like the ego is a program, right? Like if we are in a simulated reality controlled by you know who, then the ego is a program to keep us down. I mean, I don't see any value ever in the ego, other than maybe sometimes it can be a motivating factor to successful and not to be, if somebody tramples on you, that, your ego kind of makes you rally back. But I don't really see a lot of value in ever leading with your ego.
I don't either. It's funny though, Jay, because it used to be, and I don't know if you were like this, but I was, and I think most everybody else that's ever been involved in bodybuilding or weightlifting, where every time you're in the gym and you look in the mirror, you always see yourself a little bit bigger than you really are.
Right. Or not enough.
And now I'm like, I want to see myself a little smaller than I really am.
That's so true, man. It's muscle dysmorphia, gym dysmorphia, whatever you call it. But yeah, you always see yourself, you never see yourself as you are. You're either less or not enough, especially in the bodybuilding / fitness world. You're never where you want to be. It's always a battle of like, okay, well, I'm ripped, but now I'm not muscular enough. Or, oh my God, I'm huge, but I need to get leaner.
Exactly. So do you think that there's a spiritual correlation to that as well? People thinking, I want to be more spiritual. Do we walk around, like we're Mr. or Miss Spiritual when we're really not Mr. or Miss Spiritual?
That's a great question. We actually, last night I had dinner with my buddy and his girlfriend, which is probably soon to be his fiance, a really great person. And Monica and myself, and we kind of came up with like 3 goals that we want to have in 2018. Because
by the way, I saw a video that Monica did on Facebook that was powerful, talking about her son and talking about her just taking control of her life and what's controllable by her.
Monica's
powerful video.
Yeah, like I told you, man, she's a really, really empowered woman. She's done a lot of internal work, and she's constantly furthering her spiritual endeavors by reading. She's like me, man. She's a machine. She reads a lot. I mean, she's also extremely productive as a real estate professional. But yeah, that's what we were talking about. We like, what are your goals? And so many people, literally, as you and I think spoke 2 shows ago. On the first show, we said, how many people really know what their mission is in life, right? Like, how many people have identified what it is that they're trying to do? Because I mean, it is true. And you know this, Jeff, everyone is good at something.
Yes.
Everyone. We all have a unique, innate skills and talents and exceptional abilities. But most people, and this is sad, and this is why the world is, a programmed, sheeple-filled matrix, they never identify what they truly want from life.
You got to find your great basic purpose.
It's so true. But then even if you do, how many people, and few do, we know that, but how many people actually identify on a year-over basis, what are their goals? Like, what do I want to do this year? So like last night at dinner, we said, okay, we have, and a lot of this, because Monica and I coach technically with Darren Hardy. I mean, we don't pay him because he's astronomically amount of money, but we do a lot of his online stuff. Mm-hmm. And his whole life is about goals. All of the success, the Darren Hardy success model is about goals. And it's always usually about, okay, every year you should identify 3 goals that are real achievable. Not BS. I want to do this. I want to make $1 million every 2 weeks type stuff, but real, definable, relatable, achievable goals. And talking to Tony and his fiance last night, they couldn't even come up with one.
Wow.
And Tony's a very successful guy. So it's like, if you live your life where you don't really have like overarching, this is what I want to do, how I want to serve others better or stuff like that, and you don't think about it, I mean, it's really hard. You're just complacent. You're just kind of the hamster in the wheel.
And Jay, we can do that spiritually too. I mean, sit down and 3 goals on a spiritual basis. I want to, maybe it'd be, I want to read 1 self-help book every month, maybe for some people coming out of that. I want to commit to meditation at least 5 minutes a day. I'm talking real world baby steps. I want to begin to write down my dreams, or I want to begin to do success mantras before I go to sleep. Just 3 main spiritual goals. And we could do probably 3 spiritual goals and 3 business type goals. And if everybody did that, Jay, this world would change in a year.
In an instant almost. I know. Yeah. It's so sad, because like his fiance is a really, really beautiful girl. And she's also on her way, you know, and, you know, the words she used when she was talking about, cause they had one of their goals. We went through it. Monica and I went through it and we kind of coached them to come up with the goal. And hers last one was like, I want to look as lean as Monica, you know, I want to look like her. And I'm like, okay, well, what are you going to do about that? And then like the first program response that comes to her mind. And again, she's an amazing person, but she's like, oh, what was the words I'm trying to, I don't want to paraphrase. I want to say exactly. She's like, oh, I don't want to have to do that though all the time. So we defeat our goal or our intention of our goal with the words that we use, Jeff. And as you know from your books, the power of the spoken word is so underestimated by humans. Like we really don't even understand when we say that kind of stuff, how we're programming our inner guide to be unsuccessful.
That's so true. That's so true. And it was really great on yesterday to get involved with, we had a good group there, a bunch of people, and to have that many people in a room with that type of energy. And I'm telling you, I was very impressed. I don't know why I was looking at this, but there was a lot of fit and attractive people in that room. And it was great to see that. I think as you awaken yourself spiritually and you become more tuned in with, and Amber D just said, how bad do you want it? As you become more tuned in and begin to progress spiritually, truly spiritually, I think that it's almost a truism or inevitable that your physicality should follow.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you and I have spoken about it. I mean, I'm biased, but I don't even believe that there are many people who are seriously aware that have some level of fitness. Again, we're not talking step on stage, bodybuilder, fitness girl types. We're talking about people that truly do have a morning ritual that involves some form of movement. They're clearing their energy, their chakras, their energy centers. They have, I mean, let's say that they don't just clear them, but they're available to be accessed. Right. And you said it best. I mean, when you're obese and you're poisoning your physical body, which is ultimately poisoning your soul with garbage, with not natural, wholesome, organic foods, boxed foodstuffs, GMO, blah, 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 drinking sugar and alcohol, or eating sugar, drinking alcohol. Jeff, there's no way you can be spiritually evolved. I mean, I will argue and debate that with anyone. You can act like you are. Like you said, the fat preacher that was close to 400 pounds, that guy's not spiritually evolved. He just plays that guy in his day-to-day life.
Yeah. And maybe that's why those preachers sweat so much, because it's so much work to pretend that they're really spiritual. But I mean, your body, your physicality is either going to be an anchor or an engine for you in your spiritual growth.
That's absolutely.
And you get to decide which one.
That's 100% true.
It's interesting. I was talking yesterday in my talk, and it came to, everybody's afraid of dying. Everybody's afraid of judgment. And we showed, from the Christ saying, look, death is really life, and you are judged, but you're judged by God. And then Christ said, you're God. So really, ultimately, and that still gives me chills, we're our own judges. We're our own God, so to speak, little g gods, but we get the chance to decide for ourselves, not only spiritually, but physically. So there's really no one else to blame. There's no one else to slough off the responsibility for. We've got to grow up and take control and responsibility for ourselves. And that's the first step. And once we do, nothing can stop you, really.
There's no doubt. Remember, we said about that on the first show. There's only two emotions. There's fear and love. And when you're scared or afraid, normally due to religious reasons, the Redeemer complex of the Abrahamic religions, of death, of finality, of like, oh my God, I might die. I mean, when that program, egoic response comes to your mind, then there's no way you're going to achieve the goal, your ultimate goals or whatever you want, because you're not that program. Again, it goes back to a program, overrides anything else, like positive thinking, achievement, accomplishment, serving your mission, serving others. You have that fear of the physical limitation, which is the finite reality of like, oh my God, I'm going to die.
Yep.
And I swear, Jeff, I know this for a fact. It's definitely happened to me. And I've spoken to so many people who are as evolved as we are about this. That truly, to me, is the defining line in your life, when you are not fearful of death. When death has no basis in your reality, that's when you can literally continue to achieve and climb and do whatever you want and serve the purpose of others, with almost an unstoppable fashion.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of us, we start off, we're afraid of hell because we're so beat over the head with
Of
that.
course,
And then
of
we
course.
get out of that, but there's still a lot of people afraid of death. And I think that it's part of this program. It's part of this fear and guilt matrix because they don't want us to realize, the powers that be don't want us to realize that death is an opportunity to leave this limited existence and to go on and develop more spiritually. You know, the last enemy is death, but the truth is that that's the enemy of the rat bastard, of Jehovah, of Yahweh, of the one that's controlling this matrix. Death is not your enemy. It's not my enemy. It's his enemy, because it's our chance to redeem ourselves from this rather mundane existence and move on to something higher and better and fuller.
Monica always says, you want to see crazy? Go to the cemeteries and look at the people hanging out there, sad and downtrodden over their quote unquote lost loved ones. People that go to cemeteries, Jeff, and camp out.
No.
Live there for 3 or 4 days around the birth or the death date of a loved one. And it's like,
wow,
those people are so brainwashed and, you know, skull-effed by religion, thinking that, like you said, that was the enemy, that death was the greatest or the worst thing that ever happened to them. They have no, I mean, it saddens me really, because like you look at people like that and they have absolutely zero spiritual evolution. It's just like that guy Franz said last week, that's religions, you know, the video we were looking, whatever his first name is again, the religions are designed to suppress human spirituality.
Absolutely.
I mean, literally, it's crazy. When you say that, most people think you're nuts. You know that. Fundamentalists, Catholics, you know, all of them. I mean, but it's so true, man. It's sad, but it's true. It's just the truth. I'm sorry if you don't agree with that. It's just true.
So Jay, if there's people here that are not fit, and you know, let's face it, most of the people in America are not fit, and they're saying
73%,
73%, and they've been moved by your words and your encouragement to say, let's set 3 goals. Talk about 3 goals for someone that's really not fit, 3 goals for someone that's kind of fit, and 3 goals for people that are looking to reach into elite fitness.
Sure, man. So we'll start with like not fit. I mean, the number one thing you can do, like we talked about, is like, you know, reduce your carbohydrates as you go through the day. If you don't understand carbohydrates, you know, I would encourage you to Google it or even go on my old blog, FabFit Over 40. There's tons of like very basic newbie, neophyte articles on like what's a carb, what's a protein, what's a fat. But that's like number one, just reduce your carbohydrate consumption through the day. And hopefully by the time it's 6, wherever you are in your time zone, you do not eat any carbs. So after 6 p.m., you're just eating protein and fat. That's it. Second thing is increased movement pattern. You know, Jeff talked about meditation. Somewhere, somebody, a lot of people complain, oh, I don't have time. My schedule's too busy. I have to be at work so early. I have to drop off my kids. Blah. The truth is everybody has time. You create time for yourself. It just has to be made and accountable by you. You have to look at a calendar on a weekend and you have to appropriate space in your schedule, in your daily life, in your grind, over a 30-day moving average, you know, that 30-day or 31-day calendar month. And you set time to exercise. And again, exercise doesn't have to be going to the gym, lifting weights. It has to be movement, walking your dog, going out in nature. I was going to send you a video that I was looking at last night. My wife sent it to me on my iChat because I had my computer for about 45 minutes last night. It was on grounding. And how amazing grounding really is. And
it is.
It goes back to your point, you know, about we're walking around in these.
Was that the dude laying under his cabin in the snow to try to find some place to ground?
Yeah. Have you seen that?
I have. That was awesome.
Absolutely amazing. And well, they added some to that was in there. And then this was also added. I was some research scientist, and they interviewed a bunch of doctors too. And they were actually mainstream physicians. And they were talking about the energetic frequency of putting your bare feet into earth.
Yeah, every day I'm at the beach at least a half an hour, Jay, getting in contact with the earth.
It's amazing. So that would be number 2. You know, some form of exercise, hopefully a natural setting where you can ground yourself at the end, or even just walking on a dirt path. Sand is the opposite. That's epic, right? Like a beach with sand is your best set, because you could run or even walk at a brisk pace. And then I would say third, again, this is for really, really neophyte, basic people, is to learn about nutrition. You know, most people don't understand anything about nutrition because, as you know, Jeff, they don't teach it in the schools because they don't want people healthy, right? So learn about nutrition. That, you know, education, obviously, knowledge is power. So learn about nutrition. And again, there's so much free information. We live in a day and time where nothing costs money. You just have to be naturally inquisitive and know how to use Google.
Absolutely. And
Right. So
somebody
I
here
would say
said,
the most basic person.
dancing is a great exercise, and it really is, isn't it?
Dancing is amazing. I would actually say, like, when you're in this, if we're in the second and third tiers, like whatever your morning and your evening, if you have a morning and evening ritual, I would also say that you definitely need to have some form of music that really heightens you and motivates you and makes you feel better about yourself. For me, it's like progressive house music. Sometimes it's instrumental, sometimes it could be vocals, but I like that. It's upbeat. It's very, inspirational. I sometimes listen to classical and stuff too, but whatever, that part of your ritual so that you keep uplifted and you keep motivated. You don't have any distractions. Do you want me to do the second and the third people?
Please.
Then? Okay. So like so let's say you're already exercising, but you're not doing anything. You're not fat, but you're not in the best shape. And you're always one of those people like, I always got 10 or 15, 20 pounds to lose. Okay. So that again, that's now, okay. So you're exercising, but you probably need to take an assessment of what type of exercise you're doing and is it productive or not. And as you and I talked about before, literally, this is not an exaggeration. 90% of people who go to gyms in the world today have absolutely no idea what they're doing.
Absolutely.
They go to the gym, they literally see a machine that's free and they run to that machine. And then another machine frees up and they run to that machine. There's no method to the madness. There's no organization. They're not training their body parts in specific ways. They're not training progressive overload where they're trying to increase weight, increase reps, or both. I mean, it's crazy like how discombobulated people are at the gym. So make sure you train at a gym with either a professional who can show you how to do it, which, again, that's also sadly lacking in most gyms. Most trainers have no idea what they're doing, or, work with somebody who can teach you how to do progressive overload so that you do have some sort of a designed program that will allow you to, achieve results over time. And don't be that person who goes to the gym and is afraid, right? Like you just sit there and you're not, you rather do the exercise incorrectly while, other people around you that can help you or offer you insight. And that's what you do. I see it all the time. I mean, unfortunately, most people who are professionals in the business, they're not going to walk up to you because they don't want to offend you.
Right.
Okay. So don't be offended. Ask questions and try to master, other things that you have no earthly idea about. Don't be that guy or that gal who goes to the gym for 30 years and does it wrong every time.
Yep.
And then I would say too, the third thing then too, if you're learning more about nutrition, you're now learning how to lift weights, hire somebody to prep your food. I mean, you can do that very, very easily. You can get a college kid, for $8 to $10 an hour to make all your meals on a Sunday afternoon for the week, right? Like you got a job.
You just pull them out and go and heat them up and eat them up.
Exactly. But you run an ad on Fiverr, you run an ad on Craigslist, whatever local, classified type thing is in your market, and say, hey, look, I need somebody to prep meals. And then you show them, they come to your house and you meet them and you show them how you want to prep your meals, like what you enjoy eating. And then, obviously it's got to be healthy. And then you have them do it. I mean, that's a super hack for people that are busy and don't have the time to prepare their meals, just to have this person come to their house for 90 minutes on a Sunday and prep all their meals for the week. And then they're all in plastic Tupperware in the refrigerator and they're ready to just grab, so when you leave in the Monday morning or Tuesday morning grind or whatever, and you just have your little cooler and your 2 meals and boom, you don't deviate from your, eating like crap and going to fast food restaurant.
It keeps you out of the drive-through. That's a great idea.
Yep. So that would be 2. So then on the super elite, number 1 for sure, or getting to be super elite, you're already dialed in. You want to be elite. You're competing. That was 2 of the goals that both of these people had last night. They've never competed in their life, and they both want to say, I stepped on stage one time, and he's 40 and she's 34. So, we said to them, look, if you seriously don't want to look like an idiot and you want to get up on stage and look amazing, you have to hire a professional coach. You can't hire some idiot standing at your gym and says, I coach and prep athletes. You got to find somebody that knows how to do it. That's always number 1. If you want to be elite, you have to work with elite.
Right.
Okay? You can't shortchange it, don't pay for it or whatever. And then make sure that the person that you're hiring is obviously qualified to work with you. Words on an internet don't do it. Talk to their clients, talk to people they've worked with and find out about the results that they've gotten before you hire anybody. And then I would say that from that, once you're working with a coach, then it's just, again, applying, the rigors of monthly stuff of, are you prepping your meals? Are you not deviating from, by eating crappy food, like you said, going to the drive-through because you're hungry and you don't have, your convenience isn't there because you have it prepared in advance. And then also, keep some sort of a training log. And if you're obviously working with a great coach, they're going to do that for you. But again, without a plan, I mean, what's the statement is, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Right. So with professionals, you're going to get a distinct plan. So make sure you follow it and make sure they track everything so you can see over a week to week or even over a workout to workout basis, increase in productivity.
Yeah, you have to keep records, and you have to know what you're doing, as there's no way to judge what your progress. And because I do spiritual coaching and stuff, this sounds a little bit self-serving, but if you want to be elite spiritually, many times the same things apply. You need to have someone that you can go to that is going to be able to help you spiritually, point you in the right direction, give you some pointers, take you through some modalities and spiritual technologies that you yourself aren't aware of. And even though we do guide our own spirit, master our own ascension, be our own guru, there's nothing wrong with, on a spiritual realm, in the spiritual realm, looking to some experts, looking to some people that, have been there, done that. Now, again, you don't want to find somebody on the internet that, says they're a life coach because they got this online certificate that they spent, 8 hours in an online course. Go to someone that has stood the test of time and then has provable results and that are, verifiable by, some objective, are they published in places that are reputable? Are they on shows that are reputable? So it's the same thing spiritually and physically. You have to do your homework. And you have to put in the effort, and the old saying, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. And that's just the way it is, brothers and sisters, in the real world, both spiritually and physically.
Yeah, man, 100%. So I know I came in late. How was your guys' show this weekend?
It was fantastic. We had some weather challenges across the country. Some people that had already paid weren't able to get there, but we had 50, 60 people show up. And I tell you what, Jay, I really don't know what we'd have done if everybody would have showed up, because it was really tight. It was really packed. And all of the speakers were amazing. Dan from the Overwatch channel knocked it out of the park. Jenny Moonstone was amazing. Heidi Vandenberg really did a great job. And she kind of opened up spiritually, or opened up about her personal life a little bit. And a lot of people were touched by that. I didn't put anybody to sleep. And then Rex came on. And Rex just did a great job. I mean, Rex, and it was so amazing to meet these people in person, because I mean, it's one thing to see Jenny and Heidi and Rex. It's another thing to, walk up there and hug their neck and shake their hand. Same thing with Dan. It really was powerful. And all these people are in the chat room. Now I can see some of these names, and I've talked to these people. I've hugged their neck. I've shook their hand, and
that's awesome.
And Jay, it was so weird because the energy was so strong there at the end. I was saying goodbye to one of the girls there that I had never met her before, and I almost went to kiss her because it was weird. It was just the energy, and the juju was so strong. She's like, and we both were surprised by it, but it was just really, really powerful. And the getting together like that was amazing. And Rex and I are talking about trying to repeat this across the country together. And we're really going to work hard towards doing that.
That's awesome, man. Well, if you guys are definitely going to do one in Phoenix, like I said, just make sure you give me 2 weeks notice and I'll definitely be there, and I'll bring a bunch of people too. Hey, so I wanted to talk to you about a bunch of stuff, but I just got this video. We're going to switch right over to the conspiracy stuff immediately. I just got this video from my buddy who is a successful entrepreneur. He lives in Southern California, but he also has a big marijuana dispensary, actually 3 of them now in Vegas. So he drives back and forth. He's a really cool dude, black dude. His name's Everett Patterson. He's in the Dakotas of Truth. And he just sent me this video, a text. It's a text from his phone. He owns a house in the mountains in Arizona. And he was just coming back today. And he sent me this video. And let me share the screen with you guys, because this is.
Please do.
Yeah. So. All right, let me just share real quick here. Let's see if it works. Messages. Okay, so check this out. It's obviously an iPhone thing, so hopefully you guys can see this.
Okay.
So can you see? There we go. I'm putting it as big as I can. You see that line right there? 5 miles long, tanks. And guess what they are? Guess what they are on the side?
What are they?
Not U.S. military.
What are they?
UN.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. Look at that, dude. Those are all tanks, all UN yellow color. He texted me. He goes, Jay, I'm telling you right now, something is about to go down. So,
Jay, you're telling us that Everett saw this himself yesterday. He's not.
No, today. He sent this to me at 2:05.
So
I'm
this
sorry.
is real time. It happened.
Right. Here's him right here. He sent it to another guy, and the guy's right. So he sent it to me at 12:12 Pacific Standard Time. So about 3.5 hours ago.
And this isn't from a website. This is him taking this footage.
No, dude, this is him. Literally, he said, I said, where is that? He said, I'm just sitting on the tracks chilling in this little town called Winslow, Arizona. She's probably pretty close. And he says, literally 3/4 of a mile long tank and 5-mile caravan.
Oh man. Winslow, Arizona's in that song. I can't remember which song it is right now.
So that's crazy. But I said, that's why I asked him. I said, are they U.S. military? Because, there's forwarding bases in not Northern California, but I forget the town in California on the way. But that's not on that way. That's actually on the Needles Freeway, which isn't to where that base is.
Out in the middle of nowhere. And it's interesting. It is out in the middle of nowhere where maybe not as many people would see it. But why in the world would they have a 5-mile long, not barricade, that's not the word I'm looking for, motorcade?
Like a cavalcade, yeah.
Cavalcade. That was on railroad, right?
Wait a minute, let me look and see if that's railroad.
I think it might have been on railroad, or
it might have been. Hold on, let me see. It looks like it's on railroad.
So they're shipping all of these UN.
And they're UN, dude. They're straight up UN. That's scary.
I'm not a big doom and gloom guy, and I don't like to repeat things that aren't verifiable, but folks, that's 5 miles of UN tanks being shipped in the United States.
In Arizona.
We have to ask why.
Well, I think at this point, Jeff, I think all of us who are aware know something is coming. Okay. I hope that it's not of that sort of magnitude where we have FEMA camps and they shut down cities and have, curfews and all that stuff. But I mean, what the heck is that all about? Why are there UN military, machines in the United States in Arizona? I mean, what does that even mean?
That is frightening because there is no real reason for UN, armor like that to be in the United States.
No, he sent me like 4 other texts after that because he was sending it to another guy and the guy was sending him pictures of something. So it kind of interrupted it. But he said that he's like, bro, I've been, driving along this street, coming out of where I am in the mountains. And it's like, it's over 5 miles long.
And, somebody's saying, what about the California fires? Well, maybe the California fires, but I don't know how much good a tank's going to do in a.
No, those were military. They weren't they're not for firefighting and stuff like that. And yeah, none of that stuff is, they use tankers, air tankers and helicopters.
Somebody said, are they refitting and selling them?
I mean, who knows? I mean, honestly, who knows? But it's just weird that because I don't know of a military base. Again, the military base that I know of is in California and it's Fort Irwin. And that's the forwarding base, like right outside of Barstow. But that's not on a direct route because that's 15 and he was on right off of the 10, which is north. So, I mean, who knows? I mean, it could just be speculation, but I don't think it is. I think something is about to happen in this country. I think all these rumors, from this QAnon and all these people that are writing stuff on Twitter about Trump, the calm before the storm, I think something is definitely going to happen. And I think, it's the cabal or whoever they are, the globalists, the NWO, the Luciferians, however you want to phrase them. I think they're going to do something crazy one more time.
That's horrible. I mean, it'd be nice if somebody said maybe they're sending them down to Mexico, send them down to the border, maybe protect the border, but I don't know if that's going to happen either. Who knows? But that is something that we really should. I mean, if you live in Arizona, why not contact your congressperson and ask them why was all this military armament with UN markings being moved on it? If you live in California, you can give a call too, because that's right there close to you. But I would definitely pick up the phone and call my congressperson and say, hey, why is this military armament being moved with UN logos on it through our state?
There's so much weird stuff going on right now, like from a government level. Like, they were supposed to have passed the tax legislation now more than a week ago. It still hasn't happened. Now it's going to some group. Trump is doing a lot of stuff obviously with Israel, with moving recognizing the capital is Jerusalem now. It's funny because, and I know you've been doing some videos on the Secret Garden, the Divine Secret Garden with Pinella. He talks about that, Jeff, in book 5. He talks about.
I never got there yet.
Oh man, I don't want to blow it for you, but that's what's so freaky because Daniel was like texting me when I was in Miami on Friday because he sent me a screenshot of like one of the news channels were showing, the rioting and the Palestinians are rioting and stuff because they're recognizing the thing. And he goes, "Wow, isn't that fascinating that Pinella called this exactly as what's happening right now with Trump?"
Wow.
And I'm like, man, yeah.
I'm gonna have to break out. I might have to press through to the rest of those books.
No, keep reading it. Go read it in order. Read it in order.
Oh, I will read it in order, but I mean, I need to step it up. Oh, yeah. I mean, and think about this. Somebody just said this, and I didn't realize it either. Who's the senator in Arizona? John McCain.
Right. Yep.
Wow. All John McCain's office.
Are just gangsters. I mean, they're, the whole story with John Conyers, the story about, I read this weekend or whatever. Again, I don't read the news, but people send me stuff because the Decoders of Truth that, he said something about, he mentioned Monica Lewinsky when he was trying to proposition another intern. He says, "I know you don't want to know the whole story about Monica Lewinsky. I know the whole story about her." So it's like, all of these guys are up to the same no good. They all talk amongst each other. It's devilry, bro.
Now, somebody just made a comment in the chat room that, I wish they wouldn't, but and maybe this is a true expression of true emotion. This person says, "Faith is gone. Why do I even try?" How would you respond to that, Jay?
What was it? Faith is gone.
Why do I even try?
Well, no, man, you have to try. I mean, what purpose do you serve on this planet? Again, if you're serving others, who cares about the geopolitical stuff or the stuff we're talking about? Because you're still making a difference in somebody's life. Hopefully, other people every day. And if you're obviously a parent and you have kids or a husband or a wife, then, you have a responsibility to love those people. I mean, at the end of the day, everybody, even the darkest, meanest people on the planet, they still are here to love and be loved.
And Nikki Haley is the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. Somebody was asking what her position was. Yeah, I mean, if you have, what I would say, if your faith is gone, then get some more faith. It's up to you. There's got to be something in this universe that you can have faith in. And I would suggest, why not have faith in yourself? And as I say that, April types it out. Have faith in yourself. Find the spark of divinity within you. I don't care what's going on around this world. I don't care if it's happening at your neighbor on that side, your neighbor on that side. If you live in a condo, the neighbors above you, below you. You are the boss of you. You control what goes on right in here. You're the one that can still have the faith and the spark of the divinity that's in you. And as I said that, somebody just typed that in. So that's just amazing, Jay, the people that are in this thing. And yes, if you've lost faith, you don't have to go very far to find it again. Just look inside for that spark of divinity. Yeah.
And what, again, you should ask questions. What is your purpose? Mm-hmm. If you don't have, no one, again, no judgment of that person that said that, but you're not saying that. Jeff Doherty, Jay Campbell are not saying that ever in our lives, because we've identified our purpose and we're serving our purpose. And, negativity, evil, demonic, sorcery, whatever, that's not going to dissuade us from living our mission on a day in, day out basis. That's not going to stop Jeff from waking up tomorrow and doing his thing, which is
absolutely not. And here's the key, Jay, that a lot of people don't realize this. You talked about the power of words. Words are so powerful. And also, the quality of your life is dependent upon the quality of the questions you ask yourself.
Exactly.
Instead of asking, why should I, instead of asking, why am I so fat? You ask yourself, how can I get myself into better shape?
Exactly.
That's the way you've got to turn everything around. And if you're asking yourself, why shouldn't I just give up? Your brain is going to start giving you reasons why you should give up. They're going to tell you all the reasons why you should give up. If you turn that around, Doc, and say, what can I do to restore faith? Then your brain's going to give you it's going to go to work and give you the answers to that question. So you're shooting yourself in the foot. We're trying to help you. You're still trying to stick to that stance. At the end of the day, brother, we can't make you do anything. We're giving you positive, concrete steps that you can take. But guess what? Only you can take them. Jay's not coming. I'm not coming. Nobody's coming to grab you by your ear and pull you on the way towards enlightenment. We've given you some strong, basic, workable things. Turn that around. Ask the right questions or don't. We want to help you, bro, but it's up to you.
It's funny that you say that, because that's a really powerful, axiom about life, about questions. Mm-hmm. Because and this because you've been in sales. If you don't, literally the power of the ask, the questions that you ask in any scenario is going to give you the answers that you seek, right? Like when you're in a sales position and you're talking to someone and, you're interviewing them, it could be any sales process, and you're interviewing them and they want to possibly choose you to purchase something from you. Again, widgets, houses, cars, whatever.
Yeah.
The questions that you ask them are going to literally give you the answers that you seek in order to sell them whatever it is that they're inquisitive about. So if you can't ask the right questions and then, of course, listen to their answers, because their answers are always going to come if you know how to ask the right questions. It's the same exact thing with yourself. Are you asking your soul, your inner guide, your holographic soul, whatever you want to call it, the questions? Because the answers will come back to you if you're willing to listen to them. You have to train yourself. It's not simple. It's not like, I want to make $1 million in the next year. What do I need to do, God? It's not going to be like, he's not going to just directly talk to your face. I mean, maybe he will, but I mean, it's unlikely.
Jay, before I forget, you just made a very powerful point about asking the right questions in a sales scenario. And in reality, if we're talking about spirituality, and as Bella Chartrand comes on, a lovely lady I met this weekend that I hope to be doing some work with. She's just an outstanding individual. And this resonates with some things we were talking about. Sometimes when we're in this place and we're being attacked mentally, we're being attacked physically, we almost, Jay, have to sell ourselves on getting up off the damn couch. We have to sell ourselves on turning off the damn television. We have to sell ourselves on not going through the damn drive-through. We have to sell ourselves on doing some damn meditating. So you got it. This is all flowing together. Words are powerful. Questions are powerful. It not only are you selling other people, you got to sell yourself.
Yep. And that's such a profound statement or thought process of both related to questions in yourself. I'll give you guys a perfect analogy. On Friday night, so I was supposed to have turned in my book on the West Coast. I was on the East Coast on Friday night, and I was supposed to give it to them by 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Friday. And they still haven't got my book because as I was typing it up and we were about to go out to dinner, the file corrupted. The Google document spreadsheet, which is over 400 pages, 655 citations now. Actually, it's over 660 after today. It corrupted. And I'm sitting there going, oh my God, what am I going to do? Right? Like I could have in my old, FU pay me Jay Campbell ego life in my early 30s, I could have literally went off the handle. I was like, oh my God, the world's out to get me. I can't believe this just happened. But because I'm a little bit more involved now, I was like, okay, I literally got up from our hotel. We're staying in Miami. And I walked outside and I walked around the building and came back and I said, okay, this is not going to defeat me. What do I need to do? To myself, I'm talking to myself. Monica was in the room. She knew. And she helps me in times like that. And I just literally said, you know what? I'm going to make a copy of the file. I'm going to lose a lot of my formatting. It's going to take me another 8 to 10 hours again of stuff I've already done. But oh well, it's going to delay me 2 or 3 days and I'm fine. Instead of erupting, going crazy, acting like a child, emotionally immature, draining spiritually, to complain, oh, woe is me. I just chose to okay, this is just part of life. How do I learn from this? This is the contrast. This is the gift. It just happened. This is a horrible thing. This is going to cost me 4 days probably because they won't work on it this weekend. And now I got to get it to them on Monday. And then I knew I was traveling, flying back on Monday. I didn't have an internet connection on the plane. So again, I'm right here. I haven't even turned in my book, my magnum opus. I should be stressed. The old Jay would be stressed, but I'm not because I know everything is going to work out as it should and as it will. And to stress over things and realities I have no control over is ridiculous.
And Jay, I'm just thinking as that happened to you, and then you also lost your phone. So you were obviously under some testing this weekend, and it sounds like you passed with straight A's.
I think so. I mean, the phone is not working and operational yet, but yeah, I mean, again, dude, it's like they say, everything that happens to us in life is it's 90% how we react to it. It ultimately enables us to achieve, to go on, to serve others, to be good with God and to love and to be loved. I mean, that kind of stuff is all based on a choice. And so many times, and we all there, like you said at the very beginning of the show, we all get into that egoic programmed mind state where we're like, oh my God, oh, woe is me. How is this happening? I can't believe this. Oh, and then believe me, I'm not lying. Like when it first happened, because I had one of my editors who's in Canada working on it, and I saw the OSHIT, and then I was like, what is he talking about? And then boom, it corrupted on me too. And so my first reaction was an ego. I didn't say anything, but I was like, I went to fear. Immediately brain programmed to fear. Oh my God, the file's toast. What am I going to do? But this is practice. This is programming and training. And it's actually pattern interrupt, right? I got up.
Exactly what you're doing.
I killed the program. I walked out around the building. I took breaths, essentially meditated, got into my head, came back and said, okay, this is not going to defeat me. And then I made that choice. And you're right. That probably set the precedent for me not having a meltdown when my phone got stolen.
And Jay, you made another powerful statement there that if you want to change your state, how you're feeling, many times changing your physiology is a great way to do it. Instead of just sitting there and stewing, you got up, you moved around, you went outside, you breathed fresh air. You probably didn't get to walk on any grass, but you changed your physiology, and that helped you to change your state.
I should have, but we were like overlooking the beach, and I would have to go down the whatchamacallit.
Yeah, I understand, but you got outside and at least breathe some fresh air.
Well, I hate to use Anthony Robbins' cliche term, but it's so true. Motion does create emotion.
And Anthony Robbins says a lot of great stuff.
Oh no, he does. I mean, a lot of people use that as cliche, but it really is a very powerful, statement that if you realize that when stuff is starting to go south, when the S is hitting the fan, and you do physiologically change your state of like where you're at, what space you're taking up or preoccupying by moving and getting out of that headspace, it's a lot easier to change rather than sitting there and going, oh my God.
And let's face it, Jay, champions are not made when things are easy.
No.
Champions aren't made when everything is calm. Anybody can pilot a ship on a smooth ocean.
Yep.
Anybody can, walk up a flight of, very crafted stairs that are no problem. But when you find out who you really are is when you get into the challenges of life and when you get into the places where things aren't going well. So when you get into these places like Jay was, his book corrupts, he loses his phone. And, it's so weird. I had the same thing on Sunday. I show up, here's all these people for this meeting, Jay, and the bathrooms are locked and I can't get hold of any of the managers. And we got 50 people, no bathrooms. And the old Jeff would have been cussing. And, the old Jeff, maybe even 6 months ago, cussing. I'd have been mad. I'd have been really, really upset. But all I did was, I called both the managers. They weren't there. There's a guy that does real good work around here. I went and knocked on his door. He wasn't there, but his wife got on the phone, got a hold of somebody. And within about 10 minutes, our bathrooms were open. But the old Jeff would have wasted 15, 20 minutes cussing, screaming.
Yeah.
And, it's nice to catch yourself doing something right. It's
That's
nice
awesome. I think we're in very similar spiritual evolutions because
somebody says no bathrooms and it was chili pepper night at the hotel the night before.
Well, ultimately we do know that our ego is still going to get in the way. There's no avoiding it. It's that conversation I always have with my guys I mentor. I'm like, look, they get all excited when they realize their error of their ways or they figure out, they were worrying over needlessly. I always say to them, I try to ground them. I say, look, it's not like it's going to go away. It's right. Like, this is going to happen again. And I always say to them to turn to put the shoe on the other foot. I'm like, look, there's going to be a time when you're backing me off the ledge.
Yeah.
That's the part of the quid pro quo. That's why I coach you, because I know at some point you'll give back to me spiritually. So there's always like a synergistic, symbiotic relationship, but you have to realize that, and this goes back to what you're saying, and this literally took me 42 years of my life to understand this. You have to realize that the gift really is in the shit. That is the gift of life, the contrast, the struggle. And when you start seeing that and find yourself right in the middle of the fire, right? The flames are burning and you could, like you just said, you could act like an idiot and start cussing and hooting and hollering, or you can be like, you know what? How can I learn from this?
Jay is such a great example. We had somebody at the seminar. There was, no bathrooms. There was two people that you could tell they really had to use the bathroom.
Right.
And one was a guy, and think of this, he had just paid $50 and traveled from who knows how far to come to this conference. And I tell him, I'm trying to, and he's like, Jesus F Christ. And he lost it. And I I didn't get mad at him, and I'm not getting mad at him now because, 6 months ago, I would have done the same thing. He got upset, and I understand. He had to go to the bathroom. His wife had to go to the bathroom. There's no bathrooms. It's a conference. How can there not be any bathrooms? But it was what it was. And there was another lady, and I told her the same message, and she's like, oh, well, where could I go? I said, well, there's a Publix right over there, but it's maybe a 5-minute walk. She goes, oh, that's no problem. I can walk over there. It'd be nice to get some fresh air and stretch my legs.
Yep.
So 2 people, same exact scenario, same exact situation, same relative bladder size. They're both human beings. And one chose to react like the old Jeff would have reacted. And then one chose to react the way the new Jeff is still trying to get to. And it was a positive and a negative. And it just shows us that same people, same scenario, same situation will react differently. And it also shows that even though you come to a conference, you pay money, you're at a spiritual thing, you can still find that there's some little burrs on your diamond that need to be roughed off. And remember, a diamond, a round cut diamond, has 58 facets.
Right.
And every one of those has to be cut. And cutting isn't always a comfortable situation, but the end result is dazzling. And that's where you are right now. All of us, Jay, maybe some of us have fewer cuts left to be made. Maybe some of you got 57 left to be made, but we're all going to wind up being diamonds someday. We just have to be willing to go through the cutting of a diamond. And of course, a diamond's made by pressure. So, hey, you want to be a diamond? You got to take some pressure. You want to be a diamond? You got to go through some cuts. So we're the last generation of real humans. Let's get busy.
So you said something brilliant. You don't even realize it, but
every now and then I do.
Because there's a bigger point in that. And I think you learned it. Like you see the differentiation, you see the spiritually evolved move, and you see the childish, immature, egoic move. The most important thing of that observation, in my opinion, and you just hit it out of the park, is that you didn't judge the guy who went crazy, right? Because you could have been like, you know what, you're a dumbass, labeled him.
Jay, I would have been 6 months ago. I would have
come.
That's
what I mean. So that's the path here to me, that the righteous path of not judging the person who is acting the fool, again, ego, versus the person that said, oh, that's fine. There's a solution. I'll take that path. Because I always sometimes, again, meet just like you. And I wish I could say that I'm evolved.
It was like you in that elevator in Vegas with the lady blowing the smoke.
Dude, I'll judge. Exactly. I'll still not take the higher conscious path, even though I know the higher conscious move, because I'll judge it.
Yeah.
And I'll label it, and I'll have that need to be right. You know what I mean?
But
So
Jay,
it's like,
it was actually what happened to me in this. I think you said this last week. What came to me was what you resist continues to persist. So I know if I'd have come back at him, that's resisting it. It would have just been bam, bam, bam. Just let it go. I'm dealing with it. And it's nice to catch yourself doing something right every now and then. And I was motivated by the lady that said, oh, okay, no problem. I can walk.
Well, that just strengthened and fortified your decision.
Yeah.
Right. And that's almost, maybe that's in a way, like there's no coincidences again, right? Like
absolutely
that happened. That she did exactly that because of your choice of not being an idiot.
Oh, that's true. That's true. And Jay, both of us were being tested this weekend. That also gives me, hope that, this work that we're doing together is worthwhile, because we both, and I'll tell you the truth. I was like really tired because you have to plan the thing, clean it up, set up. I was thinking, dude, I'm going to call Jay and say, not today, man. I'm just so tired. But I said, no, this is important. And just think, if we hadn't done the show, we wouldn't have got out this great information. And there's people that needed to hear this.
No, it's awesome, man. And honestly, it's the truth for me too. I was literally going to text you from Monica's phone this afternoon and say, hey man, let's just either move it back or do it tomorrow or something like that, because I don't have a phone and I might, turn on my computer and be so overwhelmed. But then I saw your email at 20 till, and I literally raced upstairs to my house, took a shower, and said, hey babe, I love you. I got Jeff's show at 3:00. Raced over here, was 5 minutes later, 4 minutes later, whatever. But yeah, it's more important, again, to be men of action.
It is. Than men of
words. Do what we're going to say, and not to be man of words, and not the posture. And
that's so good. Anybody can do this. Anybody can do this.
That is the biggest issue in the world. And I always say that, like I said earlier in the show, I've said it before, I continue to say it with men that I mentor and anybody that I encounter in my life. Are you a man of action or are you a man of words?
Exactly. And are you a woman of action? Are you a woman
of action, a woman of words? Same thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's ultimately the most important thing in life. You're not going to achieve what you want to achieve unless you become a man or woman of action. It's that simple.
And Jay, I have to tell you, I was encouraged to have, I think there was might be 50, 55 people there. We had almost 20 no-shows, which was sad, but about 50 people there. And I was kind of running the thing, and there was a lot of people, a lot of other speakers. So it gave me a chance just to sit back and observe. And it gave me hope, Jay. It gave me hope, and it gave me peace. Because sometimes, we see UN tanks rolling through the country and about all the bad things that are going on. But to sit back there and look and see, 50, 55 people that are committed to spiritual growth, that paid money, went out of their way, came out, ate carrot dogs. And it was just a real inspiration to see the quality of people that are out there. And Jay, I'll tell you what, you give me 55, 65, 600 of people like that, and I'll take my chances against almost anybody.
Yeah, man, it's absolutely the truth. It's funny. I'll just real quick before we go. When I was in the airport getting my bag, I'm literally walking right down to meet my wife because we just got two teas. We drink chai tea lattes, and there's David Wilcock.
Oh, nice.
Popping right out, and I'm like, David. And he's like, hey, do I know you? I'm like, no, you don't know me, but I have a couple friends, Nassim Harriman and blah, 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 Matt Belair. They speak highly of you. Oh, I know Matt. He's like, he just literally just like goes, you want to take a picture with me? I'm like, sure. So I said, Monica, come over. So she took a picture. So I'll send it to you, but I got a picture with David Wilcock.
What was your feel on him? What was your read on him?
So my take, I'm very open about this. I believe that like the people that he's connected to, like the whole Corey Good stuff is a total fraud. And I also believe because David is connected to the New York Times, which is a cabal NWO organization, that it's hard for me to judge him from a standpoint of like, he's really one of us, he's for truth. But I do believe that there is good in him from meeting him and physically experiencing his aura.
Good.
He was definitely warm. His wife was there too. She was an attractive woman. She, was probably my age, our age, like mid 40s. And, Monica had no idea who she was taking a picture of, and I wasn't going to cause his wife was there. It was kind of weird. I didn't want to make small talk with him and everything, but he was like, hey, it was really nice meeting you. I said, hey, it was nice meeting you too. I don't know about David though, because of like who he's connected to. I've read all of his books, The Source Frequency or whatever it's called, The Source, whatever. Is an amazing book. I read it like 3 or 4 years. What was the name of that book? The Source, something theories or frequency or something like that.
That's good to hear, Jay. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, he's a good dude. I mean, he seemed like a good dude, but like, you just don't know. I've said this also. I think that the Ancient Alien series has been hacked. That it was its original purpose was to inform. And obviously, as you know, just like Pinella says in his books, and just like you've said in your books, there's always truth with error.
Absolutely.
There's good and evil and truth and error and riddle, and deception. So it's like, how do you disseminate or not disseminate, but how do you decipher what's real and what isn't? That's the hardest part.
Yeah.
You only know internally, right? What resonates inside your soul, to me, is how you really know.
Absolutely. And that's a great place to end this show. I'm glad that we both overcame and decided to do it. I'm glad we both passed our test this weekend, and I'm sure there's more tests to come. And together, if we band together and put our power together, we can all pass the test together. And sooner or later, I believe it, Jay. I've read the last pages of the book, and we're on the winning side.
I agree.
It's great to have you here, brother. Can't wait to do it again next week. You and I will talk before then. But for right now, I'm Jeffrey Darty, and he is
Jay Campbell. Thank you guys for listening.
And tell us where to find you, Jay.
Easiest place on my website, trtrevolution.com. You can get a copy of my book, the newest one, The Metabolic Blowtorch Diet, for free. It's just metabolicblowtorchdiet.com. And just give us your information. We ship it out to you. You have to pay a small shipping charge, but be happy to send it to you. And if you email me, jay@trtrevolution.com, I'll send you the copies of my books, the PDFs, for absolutely no charge. Just email me.
Excellent. And check out Bella Chartrand's website. I put that up earlier in the chat. Great woman, spiritual woman. Hope to be working with her. Jay, Glad to see you, brother. I got to blast off out here. I got to go get somebody for dinner here at 7:30. So I've only got about 25 minutes.
Awesome, man. Good luck, man. Thank you so much for having me on. We'll talk soon. Have a good night.
All right, guys. And good night to all of you. I'm glad to have you here for the show. Remember, unindoctrinate yourself, ask questions, question answers, and make those 3 goals for this year for your life. You got a few days before the end of the year. Let's get it done.
Yeah, we'll do it next week, Jeff. We'll talk a lot about like creating goals for people for next year, so they can actually have a functional understanding of how to do it.
Be a perfect time. All right, awesome. Jay. Thanks, brother. Thanks to all of you. Take care now.